Hey, what is going on, people? It is PJ Nugget 333. I am terribly sorry for my long absence, but as you can tell by the name of the video, this is a little bit different today. I am doing a Star Wars The Force Awakens movie review, and for the first part of the review, it's gonna be spoiler free. I'll leave a timestamp in the description when it kind of gets spoilery, and I'll also alert you before it happens. So let's just jump right into it right now. So to start off, just the intro of the movie is amazing. When the text flies onto the screen, you know, everybody in the theater's clapping. It was an amazing experience, and it just kicks right off to the great Star Wars action that we've missed, you know. And right from the get-go, you can see that this Star Wars has a different tone to it. It kind of has a little bit of a darker tone. There's some blood, which we have never really seen in any Star Wars. But me personally, I kind of liked the adding of blood because it gave it a grittier feel, and especially with the lightsaber fights too, they were also much grittier, but we'll get to that later. But what I also liked is the comedy too, because there was a perfect balance of comedy with this kind of new bloodier edge to it. And it really balanced out nicely and well, because, you know, there's people going into the theater that want to see, you know, maybe an edgier movie, maybe something little darker, maybe something they're not expecting out of Star Wars. But then there's also some people who are wanting to see something maybe a little funnier, a little more lighthearted, and there's that good balance between both. You know, it's a good popcorn flick, but it also works as a good drama too, so it works all around, and it's a really good solid mixture of both. And this just takes Star Wars back to its roots. I mean, the whole thing is amazing in the way it's set up. I mean, the characters, the story, and not the overall story. I'll get into this later. Not the overall story, but in the very details of the story, it's really good in how it just works, you know, and how it's going to connect with the next movies and everything like that. The action's grittier. It's not choreographed. The fights are nice and brutal, but they're also, you know, there's also a lot of emotional moments too in the movie. You get a lot of nice, really touching moments, and sometimes you're about to tear up. The acting is great. You got John Boyega as Finn, who is great as a stormtrooper who turns to the rebellion. You have Daisy Ridley, probably my favorite out of the protagonists. You got Harrison Ford returning. You got Chewbacca, Carrie Fisher as Leia. It's all there, man. It's everything you love, and all the actors do a great job. It just all works. My favorite part of the whole movie was probably Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is the new baddie in this movie, and he is so developed and so dug into, and I cannot wait to see him go into these next movies because he's so explored in this movie, and he has so many layers to him. And this is where the review's going to get a little more spoilery, so spoiler alert. Back into Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren has an edge to him, an edge that we have never really seen from a villain aside from Darth Vader, and I love it because he's torn on the inside, and you can see that. He is the best part of the movie because half of him, you know, he's very undecided, and it's great. And he almost mirrors Finn in a way, because, you know, Finn wants to escape the Empire, to escape the First Order and go to the Rebellion and move on from his past, and Kylo Ren wants to forget his past with Han Solo and Leia, and he wants to move on to the First Order. And it's great to see this mirror, how they both want the same type of thing, but they're just so opposite of each other. The story in its very details is fantastic. Han Solo dying was a good move in terms of the story. I mean, of course I love Han Solo. I'm not saying I don't like Han Solo, but it worked because you got rid of an old character, which was good, because that's what you gotta do. You can't keep the old characters forever, but at the same time, you also developed a very pivotal character in the movie, which was amazing. But as a whole, I don't think the story was that, not good, but it wasn't that unique. It's pretty much A New Hope, but in the very details, that's where it gets different. I mean, you have Rey or Luke, who both want to do something more than stay in their home planet. You have this big bad Empire, or the First Order, who wants to take over the galaxy. You have a bad guy who used to be good, turned evil. I mean, in a whole, the story's very similar, but when you look at it in the details, it's very different, which I love. And I understood why they changed, why they didn't change the story too much, because they wanted to get everyone back into Star Wars. They didn't want to hit, they didn't want to go in guns blazing and introduce you to a new story. They really wanted to slow it down. And I mean slow down in terms of the story, not terms of the action. The action's fast-paced and great, but in terms of the story, I think they were trying to slide you back into Star Wars in a nice, comfortable manner. I think in the next movie, that's when they're really gonna pick it up and really gonna blast in there, change up the story, because they have all these great little details and nice little subplots and characters who have conflicts, and I think they're really gonna expand on those in the next movie. As for Captain Phasma, because I know this probably should be addressed, she wasn't very developed, but I was okay with that. I don't think she needed to be developed, because I think she works as almost kind of a Boba Fett in this trilogy. Boba Fett wasn't developed, but he came off as a really cool, edgy guy, and I think that's how she comes off too. I also love the addition of Finn, because Finn is almost going to kind of work as the new Harrison Ford character, which is great. Rey's going to work as the Luke. You can kind of see where these parallels are happening, and I love a female protagonist this time. This is something we haven't seen in Star Wars yet. I mean, sure, we had Carrie Fisher, but not as a main character. I mean, Luke was the main character. He was who we were following, and we were rooting for him. This time, it's a female, which I love, and Rey is such a likable character that it really, really works, and it hits you on another emotional level. And, of course, this needs to be addressed. Luke, at the end, it was amazing. First time I saw it, I thought it was a little cheesy, but on second thought, after the movie, I was like, wait, that's actually really cool, and I actually plan on going to see it again, because I heard it is actually better on the second viewing. Overall, the movie really works. It's a great introduction to this new trilogy. It hits on all these emotional points, all these gritty points, all these great points. The lightsaber fights aren't choreographed, and they don't look silly like dances. They're very gritty. The action's gritty. The comedy's back and in a great way. The space fights, the ground fights, the characters, the development, the dialogue, everything is there. As for my scale, since this is my first review in a very long time, I'm going to use the Roger Ebert review. I really like a scale on a scale of 1 to 4, and I can use halves, so I could say, 1.5, 2.5. And so I give Star Wars The Force Awakens a 3.5 out of 4. It's not a perfect movie, of course. There really is no perfect movies in the Star Warses, except for Episode 5. Episode 5 is probably the perfect movie out of the Star Wars. It does have its flaws. It does have a weaker story, but that's okay, because it makes up with it for its great dialogue, fast-paced action, great characters, and overall, it's a really nice popcorn movie, but it is also a really nice dramatic film. Star Wars Episode 7 is a great movie. I highly recommend you guys go see it. You will not regret it. I'm actually going to go see it again, but that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, I can review any other movie that you guys want me to. I watch a lot of movies. I can review any movie, old to new. Whenever I see a movie, I'm going to try to review it. There's a lot of movies I've seen in the past few months that I really want to review, so expect a lot more coming out. I'm kind of reviving PJ Nugget 333 movie reviews from a long time ago. They're not going to be like a daily thing or a weekly thing or anything like that. It's just going to be whenever I have free time and I want to film a review, I'm going to film a review. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys off here, and I'll see you in the next one.